Hello everyone and welcome to chapter 11 lesson 4 TCL transaction control language. As we discussed in lesson 1 in this chapter, SQL commands is divided into 4 categories: DML statements, data manipulation language, select, insert, update, delete, and merge. All these commands already discussed. Merge command will be discussed later on in later chapters. The second category, which is TCL or data control language, grant and revoke, and will be discussed later on in later chapters. Transaction control language, commit, rollback, and savepoint, and will be discussed in this lesson. And the last category, which is data definition language, create, alter, drop, truncate, comment, rename. We already discussed this command. And DDL command or data definition language commands will be discussed later on in later chapters. Transaction control language commands, commit, rollback, and savepoint, are used to manage transactions in the database. So before learning how to run a commit, how to run a rollback, or how to run a savepoint command, let us discuss what's meant by a transaction. A transaction is a collection of DML statements that form a logical unit of work. A transaction begins with a DML statement, insert, update, delete, or merge, and ends with X plus commit rollback or M plus commit or rollback. To understand the idea of the transaction, let's assume that you have two bank accounts. This is current account and this is the saving account. And the balance of your current account, for example, $1,000, and the balance of your saving account, $4,000. And you want to transfer money from the current account to the saving account. We want to transfer $500 from the current account to the saving account. So in this case, the transaction will start. This is the transaction. Decrease the current account by 500 as the first step and increase the saving account by 500 and end the transaction. So the transaction starts here and ends here. It forms as a logical unit of work. If this statement failed, or the increasing of the saving account failed, this statement should be rolled back. Either complete the full transaction or roll back the completed transaction. If one statement failed, the transaction must be rolled back. So this is the idea of the transaction. The transaction is start with a DML statement. So as long as you specify insert, update, delete, or merge, the transaction started, and the transaction ends with a commit or rollback, either X plus commit or M plus commit. So here our transaction will start, update current account, set balance equal, for example, balance minus 500, update the saving account, set balance equal balance plus 500, and then commit to end the transaction. How to end a transaction? You can use either commit or rollback. In our example, we run two update statements: update current account, set balance equal balance minus 500, and another update statement, update saving account, set balance equal balance plus 500. After running the commit, the changes will be permanent and the transaction end in this case. A rollback statement is used to undo all changes performed by the transaction and ends the transaction. So if you run rollback after updating the current account and the saving account, all changes will be rolled back. Means the saving account returns to the original value and the current account balance returns to the original value, which is 1,000. Here in this example, delete from departments table where department ID in 120. Update employee, set department ID equal 110 where employee ID equal 150. So this transaction starts here after running a DML statement and ends here. So this is 1 transaction. So if you run a commit, all changes performed by the delete statement and the update statement are made permanent. So the transaction starts here and ends here. Rollback, this is a delete statement. After running a DML statement, transaction start. This is a delete statement. This is update statement. So by mistake, you run a delete from dept_old and you don't specify a where condition. So in this case, all rows deleted from dept_old table. So to roll back the changes, you run a rollback statement. So here the transaction ends. After running the rollback, all changes performed by this delete statement and this update statement and this delete statement will be undone or rolled back, because this is one transaction. So as we can see, the transaction starts with a DML statement and ends with a commit or rollback. So if you return back to this slide, the transaction ends with explicit commit or rollback, means the end user put commit or rollback, or implicit commit or rollback. What's mean by implicit commit or rollback? Implicit commit and implicit rollback. Implicit commit happened if you run a DDL statement or if you run a TCL statement. Implicit rollback will happen if database crash or you stop database, or if you exit normally from application. So if you exit the SQL developer abnormally, all transactions will be rolled back automatically. There might be also auto commit for your application. For example, you may have an application that configured with auto commit. Auto commit means if you exit from the application, it will automatically commit all pending transactions. So here, let's assume that we don't specify a rollback. We run, for example, a DDL statement like truncate, drop, create, and so on. If you run here a DDL statement, that means the transaction end and all these changes made permanent. Running a DDL statement or DCL statement like grant and revoke after a DML statement will end the transaction and do implicit commit. State of data before commit or rollback. Only the current session where the transaction executed can review the result of the DML operation by using a select statement. So let's assume that you have here a database and you run from this session, you run update statement and change a record, for example, salary from 1000 to 2000. As long as the update statement not committed or rolled back, any session cannot view the new data. He will still view the old data as long as the transaction not rolled back or commit. Your session is the only one that can see the new data by using select statement. You can view the new data by using select statement. If this session run a select statement against the updated row, he can view only the old data, which is in this case. So this is called read consistency. Read consistency means other sessions can view the old data. Oracle will build a read consistent data from the undo table space. So your session is the only one that can view the new updated data. This record, the updated records, is locked. Locked is used here to prevent other sessions from updating the same record. The previous state of the data can be recovered by using rollback. So you can, after running the update statement, you can run rollback to retain the old data, which is in this case 1000. So this is the state of data before commit or rollback. As long as the transaction is active, the new data cannot be seen by other sessions. You have the only one that can see the data by using select statement, and the records being updated is locked and cannot be updated by other sessions. State of data after commit. After running a commit statement, the transaction will end. Data changes are saved permanent. The locks are released, so other sessions can update these records. All sessions can view the new changes because now the transaction ends by a commit statement. The previous state of the data before the changes, is no longer available in the normal SQL queries. Save points, if exist, will be removed. We will discuss later on in this lesson the save point. State of data after rollback. After running a rollback, all changes are undone or rolled back. Locks are also released. Previous state of the data is returned back to the old, which is the data before the change. Last thing in this lesson, which is the TCL Savepoint. The Savepoint is used to create a breakpoints as a specified location in the current transaction, so the transaction can be partially rolled back to any one of the save points. To understand the save point and how to use a save point, let's have a look at this example. Delete from department, so transaction starts here. Update employees, set department ID where employee ID equal 150. Delete from dept underscore all. Let's assume that we run this statement by mistake. We don't specify a where condition here. So all rows in dept underscore old removed, and we want to roll back the changes. Without save point, here we will use rollback. Let's assume we don't have a save point. If we run rollback, all DML statements in the transaction will be rolled back. By using save point, you can create breakpoints. So this is save point A, this is save point B, for example. And you run this delete statement by mistake. You want to roll back only this delete statement. So we can run rollback to save point B, means only roll back this delete statement. So you can partially roll back a wrongly written statement or DML statement by using rollback to a save point. So this is the idea of using save point in the transaction. So in this lesson we learned the TCL commands, transaction control language, commit, rollback, and save point. I hope this video was informative for you, and thank you for watching.